Hey, it's DragonZBW, and today I'm going to be showing you how to program applications in Python. Python is a very simple programming language, but it's got a lot of uses. It's used in websites like YouTube and Dropbox. But I'm not going to be showing you how to program YouTube or anything, at least not today. So in this tutorial I'll be showing you the basics of Python programming, also regarding Mac and Windows. I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to be programming in the terminal application, which is a default Mac app. If you're on a Windows, you might have to get some sort of Python command line or something. But anyway, let's get started. So here I am in terminal, and so I gotta teach you some basic terminal commands first. So right now, as you can see, if I type ls for list, this is going to show me what directory I'm in. It'll show me all of the files in there. You don't really need this, especially if you're running Windows. This doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to show you this because it's some useful information when you're programming in terminal. So ls will show you all of the different files and programs and folders you have in the current directory, which I'm in the users/Wilsons because that's the name of the user. That's what ls does. So as you can see, it has all the different folders and programs and stuff. To create a Python application, you're going to want to type vim. Now Vim is a text editor, just like TextEdit, or if you're on Windows, it's like Notepad, but it works in terminal. Again, you don't have to use terminal to program your applications, but I'm just doing it because it's easy to run them from terminal. So I'm going to type vim, and then let's start with a simple hello world application. So I'll type helloworld.py, and py is the file extension for Python programs. So if I hit enter, and this will open up a text file where I can type in my program. Now, this is just regarding Vim. When you open this up, you need to press I to enter insert mode, which means it's going to actually allow you to edit the document. So, on the top of your document, you need to type in this line, Python, and that just tells it that it's a Python program, because basically it has to go to that directory in the computer to find all the Python resources and stuff. But let's get started with some basic programming. So when we're working in Python, we're going to be using one command a lot, and that is print. Now, what print does, it will print to the command line whatever you put in the quotes right here. You can also print variables, but we'll talk about that later. So for now, I'm just going to make it print hello world. And then to exit, you have to exit insert mode before you save. You hit escape, and then type :WQ to save and quit. And then it will bring you back out here. And as you can see, if I type ls, helloworld.py is there. So now I'm going to type Python, which is the command to run a Python program in terminal, helloworld.py. When I hit it, it'll print hello world, because that's what we told it to do. So now I'm going to go ahead and reopen that. And again, hit I to enter insert mode. Now let's say we want the user to input their name, and then it's going to say hello to them. So there are two ways to do this. The first of which is you can declare a variable, and the way you do that is you type the name of the variable and then equals whatever you want it to equal. So I'm going to put raw input, what's your name? Now, there is actually a problem with this, because this apostrophe, the compiler will see that as ending the quote, so I have to type a slash there. And it does have to be that kind of slash, it can't be a backslash, it has to be a forward slash. So, raw input, what's your name? And that will basically, here, I'll just show you. Actually, let me finish this first. So now let's change it to print that. And what that does, the plus just concatenates the two strings, which means, it basically means it's just adding two words together. So the hello, and then it will add name to it. And remember, before we were setting name to the raw input. So what this will do is if I run it, it'll ask me what's your name, and I'll type in my name, and it'll say hello Zach. Now also, concatenation doesn't just work with two strings, you can add another one. So I can add that, and now when I run it, it'll add a exclamation point to the end. Now there are some other things that we can do. There's another way that we can perform this raw input thing here, where instead of having a variable which takes up space, we can just have it do the raw input right when it's in here. So in the print, we can type in this. And then again, I have to put that slash before the apostrophe. And then that should work as well. So now it'll still ask what's your name? Zach. Hello Zach. So it's the same exact thing, but it doesn't use as much space. So I recommend that if you just want to have it say something, but you don't want to have it, like you don't need to store a variable for it. Now, this is pretty simple, but let's get into some variables. So as you saw before, we declare a variable by typing the name of the variable and then what you want it to equal. So we're going to go over some different kinds of variables here. So there's the main two types of variables really are integers, or int, and strings. And a string is just different characters. So this is a string, while this is an int, or this is an int. And there are different operators you can use with integers and strings as well. So I'm going to go over some of those. So let's declare a variable called string, and we will set this to, let's just say raw input, enter a word. And that will make a string called string that is whatever we type in to enter a word. So then what we can do is we can print length of string Now, the len function is used to get the length of a string, but we also, because it returns an integer, we need to type this to change it to a string, because the str function will change anything to a string. So now that we've done this, if I type in Python example.py, it'll say enter a word, and let's say Bob. The length should be 3, length of string 3, worked perfectly. And then if we do it again, let's say anti-disestablishmentarianism. I have no idea if I spelled that correctly, but anyway, let's hit enter. 29 letters long. So that is our tutorial for the day. Again, the next tutorial will be about advanced variable manipulation, so we'll go over variable types, especially string manipulation, and we might do some stuff with lists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.